Today we're going to learn how to predict the future with a deck of cards. So this trick, I'm going to predict where you put the 4 aces into the deck. If you were here right now, you can mix the aces into the deck, and my predictions hopefully will be correct. So I'm going to take out my predictions now. We'll go with that one. That's 1, 2. Yeah, this one. And let's see. Yeah, we'll go with that one as well. Okay. So there's my 4 predictions where the 4 aces are going to land in the deck. Okay. Now, we're going to have to set the rest of the cards out in more or less equal piles. So I'm just going to grab a couple cards here. Let's see. That'll work. That should be close. That should be good. And that one, and yeah, we'll just set the rest down there. That looks pretty close. Doesn't have to be exact, pretty close. So if you were here right now, you could do exactly what I'm about to do. You could do this yourself. I'd have you actually come over, cut the deck anywhere you want, and set it to the side. I place 1 ace on top, and we cut the pack over like this, and set another ace in. And again, you could actually be here and cut. You can literally cut anywhere you want. And there, and we cut over here, and that one goes in, and then we gather all of the packets up, give them a few cuts, a little mix, like that, and hopefully my predictions are correct and the aces are in the correct spot. So let's see what the first one is. It's a king, so that means the first ace should be 13 cards down in the deck. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now, I'm going to do this a little bit different than I normally do. I'm going to take the other 3 predictions, and what I would normally do is I would show them to you, and I will let you choose which one comes next, okay? And you could choose any one, it's up to you. So, since there's no one here, and to make this fair, I'm actually just going to mix them up, and I'm just going to grab one at random. Let's go with the middle one. The 10 is first, okay? So I deal down, I deal down 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And again, if you were here, you could literally count these cards. They really are 10 cards being dealt. And we'll do this one. 7 next. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the last one is the 4. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4 cards right there. Now, if I was correct, if my predictions came out correctly, this should work, and there should be an ace at the bottom of every pile. Let's take a look and see. There's 1, 2, did we get it? There's 3, and hopefully the last ace. Yes, all 4 aces. And that is the 4 ace prediction. Alright guys, so now I'm going to explain the 4 ace prediction effect here. It's pretty simple to do. It's basically a self-working effect. There's just a couple things you need to know because it can go different ways depending on what order your predictions come out in. So you're always going to take a king, a 10, a 7, and a 4. Okay, those are the 4 cards you take out, and you want the king to go first. The 10, the 7, and 4 can go in any order. Does not matter. So the king has to go first, so that's the important part of this. Okay, and this is actually what, if people try to follow it back, this is what screws them up, because if the king was in a different position, this wouldn't work out. Okay, so that's what will screw people up, and that's why we always go with the king first. So I'll move the aces here, and the only thing that you have to do to actually get this to work is the amount of cards that you put down in each stack. The first pile, what you need is, the first pile actually doesn't matter, it's just what's left over. The second 2 are going to be 9, 9, and 12. So whenever it's collected back up, you'll be able to get all the cards, the 13, the 10, the 7, and 4. So it's 9, 9, 12. This packet is just the extras, which there's going to be 14 cards left over. So the first pile needs to be 14. okay, if that makes sense. So the way I do it, so it doesn't look like you're counting. You're just going to spread them over in blocks of 3. So I got 3, 6, 9, 12, and 2, that's 14. And that's how I do it. So I know that 3 times 4 is 12, so I know if I spread them over in 3s, I need 4 of those plus 2 cards. And that's how I get that. So I spread them over, I get my 14, I set it down. Then I need 9, that's 3 3s, so I do 1, 2, 3, square it, set that down. Same thing with the next pile, 1, 2, 3, and I'm in my head I'm just counting to 3, I'm not counting to 9, so it doesn't look like I'm counting, I'm just going, okay. And then you should have 12 left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, okay? Now you don't have to count that last pile, because if you have a full deck with 52 cards, that's what you should have left, okay? As long as you make sure you take the jokers out of the deck, that will screw you up. You'll have too many cards in the last pile, okay? So the way this works, and I'm going to kind of go into the explanation of exactly the mathematics of this, but I'm not going to go too detailed because it's not that important, but just so you can be aware of how this works. Again, this first pile doesn't matter. So you cut it over, doesn't matter how many cards you cut. And I'm going to do this face up so you can see where the aces are. Notice that ace goes in. I'm going to cut over on top. Doesn't matter how many cards cut on top, because at the end I'm actually going to put these right on top of here anyway. So all 9 of these cards are going to be on top of that ace anyway, okay? And then another ace is going to go on top of that because I put an ace here, right? So when I transfer this to here, there's going to be 9 cards on top of that ace anyway, no matter how many they cut off, okay? And that's basically the trick of this, okay? So we cut off another packet. Again, the same thing is going to happen here. This is going to go on here, and there will always be 9 cards. Same thing here. That goes there. This ace goes here. That goes on top, and there's always going to be 12 cards, okay? So the first pile, so when you collect these up, you want to do this kind of in a quick way so the hands are kind of hiding everything, and it's hard for the audience, the spectators, to be able to see exactly what you're doing, okay? So you're going to take the second packet and the last packet, pick them up, and they're both going to go one pile to the left, okay? So you go over to the left one pile, and then this is where you go opposite. The right hand's going to go to the left hand's going to go to the right, okay? So you're going to go kind of like that one, and then this last packet goes on top, okay? So the right hand packet goes on top of the left hand packet, and then you're ready to go. So you might want to watch that sequence a couple times just so you can get the collecting, the order that you collect those up in, okay? So you should end up like this, with the 1 ace on top, 12 cards, another ace, 9 cards, an ace, 9 cards, and an ace. And that should be what you end up with, okay? Now, now you can do some like false cuts, like this, to make it look like you mix them up, or something like that. Okay, just to kind of make it look like you mix them up. If you know some other false shuffles that retain in full deck retention, you can go ahead and do those as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to swing cut over about a third of the deck into your hand. Then what I do is I literally just jam my pinky in. I swing cut over another third right on top, and it's crooked and not on exactly, and it doesn't matter because it's so quick, nobody notices that. So that goes down. The last packet, last third, you drop on the table, pick up the middle one, set it back on, and then the top, and right back on. So everything goes right back in the exact same order. It's very simple to do. Again, it's just here, here, remember there's a break, down, there, and there. And the more sloppy you make it look, the better. So if you kind of do that kind of a thing, square it up real fair, you get a nice little, looks really nice, like you really mix the cards up, okay? So, especially with the cards face down. With all the cards face down, it looks a lot better. So now you get the first card, it comes up, the king. King has to go first or nothing else is going to work out. So when you do this, you're going to just deal 13 cards down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I'm only leaving this stepped, that card jogged a little bit just so you can see where the ace is, okay? In performance, you would stack them in a neat pile. Okay? Now, after doing that, the next ace is right on top. So it doesn't matter what number you get next, you're going to have that ace at that position. Okay. So right now we have ace and then 9 cards, and then another ace. Okay. So if the 10 comes up, you're exactly right. You're going to deal out 10 cards, and then you have an ace on top. And it'll be nice for you. If not, you could get the 7 or the 4. The worst possible position to get these cards in would be this. Okay, 7, 10, 4, or 4, 7, or 4, 10, 7 is 7. But the 10 in the middle is probably the worst position, because then you're gonna have to do some little weird kind of dealing with the cards. Okay, but so I'm just gonna show you this order. If it would come out like this, what you would do. Okay, so you know that. So you just gotta remember in your head where the aces are, so you know how many cards to take. And you'll understand this when you actually perform this. Okay. When you're practicing this. So if we get 7, we know we can just deal 7 cards down, and there's nothing to worry about. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if we think about it, there was 1 card and then 9, right? So that's 6. That means we're left with 3 cards here, right? There's the ace, and then there was 9 cards. So if we don't count the ace, we count this, that's 6 cards that are here. Plus 3 is 9. So there's 3 cards and then the ace. Okay. So the ace is the 4th card basically. And that's why we do a 7 and a 4, because it always works out that way. Okay. So we know if the 7 was used, then the ace is the next ace is the 4th card down. If the 4 was first, we know that the next ace is the 7th card down. So that's why we got to do something a little weird here, because we can't deal 10 cards down because we're not going to get the ace. So what we do is we know it's 4 cards down. So if we get to 10, we deal down 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, and keep them in the same order. Once we hit there, we're going to start to deal on top until we get to 10. Okay, so we count 4 and then 5 until we get to 10. Now the reason we're doing that is because we need the ace at the bottom of the stack. So there's different things you can do to hide it. I kind of I'm talking to my audience, usually to misdirect for that. I'll talk to my audience, and while I'm talking to them, I'm able to ask them a question in the middle of me dealing, so they don't notice that I switched the way I was dealing. Okay, so I might do something like, okay, 1, 2, what do we get? 10, 1, 2, I'll do that. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we get? 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and when we're done, if you would like to count these, you can definitely count the stacks, and I do that. So it's something like that, just so I might say, oh, what did we get there? The 10, right? Yeah, okay, so 5, 6, and I'll do it that way. Now I know from doing that, the next one is going to be 4 cards down. Okay? It's got to be 4 cards. So it's easy. I just deal straight 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's the ace. Okay? So that's why we use these cards, because it's always going to work out. If the 10 goes down first, it's nice, because then we can do 10, 7, deal them straight down. And then the last one, we just deal 4 and set it. Or if the 4 comes first, we deal 4, then 7, and then 10. Everything works out nice, a lot nicer that way. But if the 10's in the middle, it's just, you got to do that one deal where you're going to have to, mix it up a little bit and kind of deal on top. So it's just a matter of kind of looking at the scenarios and going through that and making sure in your head before you deal down, you know what's happening. So if the 10 went down, the next card's the ace. You got to know that in your head so that when you deal them, it comes out right. So it's not a hard trick to do. Very